Hey guys, M.V.K here, back again for some more, absolutely more Patreon requests, guys. Trying to finish off, we are in the spooky season, and notice a lot of my patrons have been dropping, for requests, a lot of things that theme spooky and scary, top lists, things like that, and I'm all for that. Just to let all my patrons, especially my beta level Patreon members, know that I have not forgotten you guys. I will get back to the request that you gave me, but right now I'm gonna focus on the patrons who deliver things for the month of October. And this time around, we are delivering on another Patreon from the Yin and Yang Lad. Yin and Yang Lad, he asks me favorite found footage movies or horror movies in general. The idea of found footage was interesting to me in general. I think correct me on this, guys, the first found footage horror-esque film was The Blair Witch, and I didn't care for that movie. It didn't do nothing for me, didn't scare me, didn't everything like that. The game was a little bit more spooky than that movie. But over time, we started to see people master the craft of the found footage movies. And I'm going to give you guys some of my favorite. I'm going to give you at least eight. Yin and Yang Lad, you never gave me a specific number, so I'm going 8. You guys know me how I am with even numbers. I don't do odd numbers. So we're gonna do 8, and all these are found footage horror based creature features. I love a good creature feature, but they're all found footage films that I like a lot. And that's what this is all about. So let's kick this off. I hope you guys enjoy. Look forward to hearing your list as well. And once again, another shout out to the man himself, the Yin and Yang Lad, for this request. Let's do this. We're going to kick it off with number 1 on the list. And number 1 on the list, we started off with a movie that revolves around probably the U.S.'s most famous cryptid in history, Sasquatch or Bigfoot. And we're going with the found footage film Exist. This right here, to me, is the best Bigfoot movie, period. That is supposed to give the cryptid more of a creature horror feel to it. So leaving out Harry and the Hendersons, okay? I love that movie. But we've seen a lot of Bigfoot horror movies or creature feature movies, and none of them live up. They'll change the name, the tall man, the big man, or something like that, and it doesn't work. It doesn't. This one was actually good. Now, I believe there was another found footage movie that came out before this. I believe it was directed by Bobcat Goldblum, and it was called Willows Creek. Correct me on that. I watched it. I wasn't really caring too much about it. This one actually gave me a little bit of a vibe that I liked. From the concept to why Bigfoot is chasing these kids. And what I love about it, you rarely see him. You don't see him fully. You never get a real good shot of him. You always see him from a distance and he's running at them or something like that. And by the time you really get to see what he looks like, it's at the end of the film. And I'm forgetting the actor who played him by name, but he also was Swamp Thing in the short-lived Swamp Thing series. They humanized Bigfoot a lot because, bottom line, these kids they go out to a remote cabin to spend the time, as always. But when they're going out there, they hit something, and they don't know what, and Bigfoot is basically coming after these kids for the death of one of their own. The ending is just crazy because that's where you really get to see, and that is where it's really like, oh my god, that is sick. Like, it's like when I saw that ending, I'm like, imagine seeing that big hairy bastard coming at me. Like, that would have scared me too. It doesn't even take place in the Midwest or in the Northwest or anything. It takes place in Texas, but it was still a good movie. I do like it. To me, it's the best Bigfoot film there is. So Exists makes number 1 on the list. Number 2 on the list. We go to number 2. Number 2, we go to the VHS series. VHS, still a long-running franchise, still going on to this day. The latest one was they still doing things in the 80s right now. Probably the least favorites are Viral and the last one, but VHS caught me off guard really quick, really fast, but I loved it. From that, probably my favorite out of the franchise is still the first movie. It is an anthology series, which I love. I love a good anthology series as well. And from the first story called Amateur Night, which focuses on Lily, the succubus, which threw me off. I was like, oh snap. To the final story with the house coming alive and trying to keep this girl, this demonic girl, inside. It was good stuff. The weakest one out of them was probably the Lover's Quarrel. I didn't care for that one too much. And then of course they did a sequel, which VHS 2 was pretty good. And then they did Viral, and then they did all these other ones, 99, all that. Now Shudder runs them, but still, they've all been pretty damn decent, and you get to see a lot of different creators bring their own flavor to this series, and I love that. Still to this day, Lily is still the one that just, I like you. Like, the fact of what they did nothing with that actress's eyes. Like, her eyes were just that big, and I was just like, and I remember watching it for the first time. When I first watched VHS, it was on Netflix. My cousin and I were watching it, and I'm just like, and my cousin didn't know what she was, and I'm like, I know exactly what she is. She's a succubus. I was like, I knew what she was. I knew right away what she was. And it's still crazy. And then of course she got a spinoff, which was crazy. But the VHS series franchise has been pretty damn good. It is definitely another one I love. Number 3 on the list. Number 3, we go to a creature feature. We go to Cloverfield. Yes, Cloverfield. Definitely got to have Cloverfield up there. Cloverfield is, I thank J.J. Abraham for it, because as he said, he was trying, coming up with a creature, and he always felt that America needed their own somewhat version of monster, similar to like a kaiju or like Godzilla. Nobody's gonna ever take Godzilla's place, but he didn't even look at King Kong like that, but he said, yeah. And I remember the promotion for this movie. Me and my brother went to go see it. We loved it. And I remember the promotion for it. We saw another movie and they were showing it. Kids were at a party, and then all of a sudden, a lot of people thought it was a Godzilla movie, and we knew it took place right here in New York. We knew that. And you see something get thrown, it hit the Chrysler building, and all of a sudden you see a head drop, and then it's basically the Statue of Liberty. Something took the Statue of Liberty's head and launched it down Midtown. It was crazy. That was crazy. But yeah, watching the film and seeing Clover and seeing things, you never really get a good look at the creature, which I love too. I love that aspect of the film. You never really got a good look at it. There were a couple of times, like there was one when it was running over Grand Central Station, and then there was another time, but there was always like far away shots. You never really got to see it up close. And I remember in the theater, me and my brother, we were watching it, and when the army was shooting at it and you saw like it shaking off things and like these parasites were, and I remember turning to my brother, I'm like, yeah, those we're gonna see those things again. And what happened? We did see them again. The gang, they're all rolling through the subway tunnels, and all of a sudden the rats are running from something, and they look up and you just saw them up there, and it was great. And then when we finally did get to see it, it was even cooler. But the fact of the matter is still, Cloverfield has been a great series. It was a great movie. And to know that Clover was a baby, that was just a baby that was destroying and rolling through Manhattan, and it was just crazy. The jump scare was good, especially when they were flying away, and then of course they nuked Manhattan, which and then they even said it was still alive. Number 4 on the list. Number 4 we go on to is Paranormal Activity. The Paranormal Activity, I see a lot of first-time viewing reactors on YouTube watch this and freak the fuck out, and I can understand that. I remember watching it. Watching it with my aunt and my cousins, and I was even like, "Yo, what the hell? Is this a ghost?" Or then I'm saying that it's a demon, and things like that. And I think the whole mindset of it is that it's what you can't see that scares you even more. And that was one of the things. Like, even finally I remember when they put the powder down on the floor and you actually saw the footsteps, and that was scary. And then of course at the end we get to see what happened, and that Kate is possessed. And yeah, it was pretty damn good. And then they made more and more, and it went on for a while. And my only issue with the Paranormal Activity movies is that there was no sense of hope, like from the covenant of witches that worshipped Toby or whatever, to there was like no beings of light like that would try to stop this creature. But outside of that, it was fine. But once they started doing time travel, that was where I jumped. I was like, yeah, I didn't like that. So yeah, but I do enjoy Paranormal Activity as a whole. But once they jumped the shark with the shark with the time travel stuff, and nobody can tell me any differently. Number 5 on the list we move on to is Wreck. Wreck is a Spanish found footage horror film, and I do recommend people to watch that than watching Quarantine, because Quarantine is the American version of Wreck. It is shot for shot, frame for frame, same thing, but give it to the Spanish. They knew what they were doing with that film, and it's great. You think it's going to be just some outbreak zombie like film, and then it does a whole 180 and goes really into something more deeper, and I love that. But that was great. There are 4. They made 4. There's 1. There's 2. 3 was the one that went from being a first person to more of a you see everything, and then they did a 4th one where it took place on a boat, on a container ship. But yeah, it was great. I loved it. Of course, probably one of the famous jump scares you've probably seen a lot of, like Try Not to Jump, is the camera's zooming, turning, and then all of a sudden you see this boy just come at them, and then that's about it. But yeah, it was a good film. And then once again, if you just, I ain't gonna watch that because it's in Spanish and I don't want to read subtitles. What are you talking about? Like, I hate when I hear people say that. I ain't got time to read. Like, you think in other countries they don't have subtitles for American movies? They do. Come on. we go to is Afflicted. Afflicted caught me off guard, but it was actually really good. I watched it when I heard about it. I watched it once before. I was looking at a list a couple of years ago, and I saw it on greatest found footage list, and I was like, "What's this?" So Afflicted is a found footage film that turns out it's a found footage film about two best friends who had for their dying wish of one of the friends. The actor, I forget his name, but his real name is Derek Lee. He's dying. He has a brain aneurysm in his head, and he doesn't know how long he has much to live. So he and his friend, they take a trip. They travel the world, and they ended up in Barcelona, and they meet a mysterious woman. The woman takes Derek Lee's character upstairs, and then he wakes up, and we find out what happened to him. We find out that the woman was a vampire, and she bit him and turned him. And we were there. They document, his friend documents him changing into becoming more vampiric. Like he's stronger, he's faster. Like his boy's on a motorcycle, and he's right beside him, just running with him. He's becoming more sensitive to sunlight. And there's even a scene where he tries to eat regular food, and he barfs it back up. And we find out that he has to, of course, has to consume blood. They also show like what happens when he doesn't. He goes into like this blood state rage where he's just not there. His eyes go white, and he just looks at you. This is another meme, and I've seen a lot of try not to get scared videos, and they use him in there. He's upside down, and he's looking at you, and he just so yeah, but this was a really good. The film was really good. It was, I think you can find it on Paramount Plus. I think it's on there. You can check it out if you have it. It is really sad as well, because you not only do you see what this is doing to their friendship, you get to see the battle that Derek Lee's character is going through of trying to possibly stay human, but knowing that he's not human anymore, and even coming back to finding the vampirist that bit him. And there's even a scene where he actually shoots himself in the head with a shotgun, boom, and he just sees the next day his head has just been healed. It's just completely healed. By the end of the movie, he has embraced what he is. He sends one last message to his family, his loved ones, telling him, this is it. You'll never see me again. I love you. But he goes out to be kind of like a vigilante, or in a sense be like Morbius. He will only feed off the wicked. And you see him with a child molester, and he's like, he lets him go, and he said, you got like 5 seconds to run. I'm coming after you. Basically, I'm hunting you. It's different. Like, but even the vision of, you see him with his eyes are different. It's all crazy. But Afflicted was really good, very good indeed. Yes, Afflicted, number 6. Number 7, believe it or not, is the M. Night Shyamalan movie. M. Night fell off. I would say personally, he kind of fell off after Signs, in my opinion. A lot of people didn't like a lot of the movies that came out after that. I love Signs. I love Unbreakable. And of course, Sixth Sense and stuff like that. But The Village, I watched. I didn't care for it too much. Of course, there was The Lady in the Lake, that was kind of weird too. But this was actually a treat. The Visit is actually a treat because this actually has Katherine Hine in it, and she sends her kids to her parents. while she goes on vacation. She had a falling out with her parents, and the kids are there and documenting their grandparents, who they think is their grandparents, and that's the twist. As always with M. Night's movies, that's the twist. The twist is the people that they think are their grandparents are not. They find their grandparents dead, and these two people that are living there are not. Basically, they are escape mental patients that their grandparents used to go see. The grandmother is probably the scariest out of them. Some of the stuff she was doing in this film was just downright creepy. And then of course, but after it's just a real twist. It's the twist that really is like, oh shit, just like that throws you off, like holy crap. And that's the point of it. It's like, what? And some people would say, well, how she not know? Why would she send these kids off to meet her? And that's the whole point, is that she had a falling out, and they contacted her and felt like they wanted to patch things up. So yeah, but it was really good. I really enjoyed that. And last but not least, number 8 on the list. Number 8, another one of my favorite found footage films, is Troll Hunters. Troll Hunters, once again, this is a foreign film, and a lot of foreign found footage films are great, and there's a lot I haven't seen, but Troll Hunters I love. It is dealing with trolls, and they're not small, they're giant like that, and I love it. Like, it's just a really cool film. I do recommend, if you've never seen it. I believe it's Swedish, or it's Scandinavian. It is definitely, but it's a crazy film that I watched, and you're just like on your seat, because you got these people researching and trying to find, and then of course you got a person that knows that these creatures, trolls, exist, and he's trying to prove it and everything like that. But it was great. I love the scene at the end with you get to see the giant troll. It was crazy. It was a good film that I liked a lot. But if you've never seen Troll Hunters, I do recommend it. Check out Troll Hunters. You'll like it. Definitely. Those are my favorite. So let me go down the list once again. Number 1 is Exist. Number 2, VHS. Number 3, Cloverfield. Number 4, Paranormal Activity. Number 5, Wreck. Number 6, Affliction. Number 7, The Visit. And number 8, Troll Hunters. Those are 8 of my favorite found footage films. What is yours? And with that being said, guys, you guys take care. Deuces.